Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in digital format at Amazon.com, Google Play, Draft to Digital, and other digital booksellers, or pick up your paperback copy on May 24th. Having sex with the wrong woman can destroy a man's life. Now, the Bible states that a man is supposed to abstain from fornication, and it states that for a clear reason. Because having sex with the wrong woman can basically destroy a man's life and make it where he's miserable for the rest of his days, all because he went out here and participated in a casual sexual encounter with the wrong woman. Now, the institutions of Madison Avenue advertisers and Hollywood movie studios ever since the days of the sexual revolution have tried to promote having casual sex as something normal and something based on biological urges. This is the narrative that Madison Avenue and Hollywood have promoted to generations of men, and they've promoted this narrative to generations of men because what they really want to do is get men caught up in their lust so that they can go out here and sell them products. Moreover, they want to go out here and sell them the idea of a lifestyle, that this is something that is appealing and attractive. And furthermore, what they also want to do is make a narrative where men think that having this casual sex with women or multiple women will be the thing that defines them as a man. This is what Hollywood has promoted for many years in many of its movies, and Madison Avenue has promoted in much of its advertising, and the porn industry has also promoted that having this casual sex will make a man more socially attractive. However, all of those things basically are lies promoted by these institutions in order to basically jam a man up as related to his overall life. Because, again, having sex with the wrong woman for the wrong reasons can basically derail a man's life, because as he goes out here and gets involved with the wrong woman for the wrong reasons, he doesn't really see that the direction his life is going to be in a major state of decline. Now, when it comes to most men, they are basically persuaded and in some cases coerced in order to have sex based on two narratives. One narrative is peer pressure. The other narrative is looking to elevate a man's social status. Now, both of them basically work hand in hand, where you have one group of men looking to push peer pressure on a teenage boy or an adolescent boy at an early age in order to have sex with a woman or a girl, and thinking that this will, one, elevate his social status with other men, and also a lot of these guys believe that this will define them as a man. Because a lot of guys out here believe that having sex with a woman, any woman, will define them as a man. Unfortunately, they don't really look at the overall picture of what sex means in the Bible. Because sex is not just a physical act like those in Madison Avenue and Hollywood want you to believe. No, sex is an act that is done where you join your body with the body of a woman, and the two of you become one, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And what many men don't understand is that when you're having sex with a woman, you not only release your spirit and DNA inside of that woman to bond with her, you also give her a part of yourself, and that part of yourself basically bonds with that woman. And this is where the Apostle Paul tried to warn us about having sex with harlots, because a man who becomes one with a harlot winds up becoming bonded to that woman. And as he becomes spiritually bonded to that woman, what happens is part of her becomes part of him, and he winds up being attached to a deeply disturbed and troubled woman. That's why you want to abstain from casual sex, because casual sex basically makes it where you as a man basically marry your body to any woman, and if you get with the wrong woman, you are bonded to her dysfunction and her toxicity, and basically this basically winds up messing you up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and you wind up with not a soul that is at peace, but you wind up with a deeply troubled spirit. And this is what happens to a lot of guys out here who have this casual sex. They basically wind up in a situation where their spirit winds up getting messed up, and they wind up becoming spiritually messed up because you're attached to a dysfunctional woman, and her part of her dysfunction becomes a part of you. And a lot of guys, they just think, oh, it's a one-way street where, oh, they get with this woman and they're giving her a part of himself, again, looking at bonding with her. But the whole thing is, if you have too many sexual partners, and again, they are the wrong women, they can wind up making you spiritually miserable, and they can wind up making you spiritually miserable because you're bonded to a dysfunctional woman. And again, when your spirit is just deeply troubled, you're not at peace, you're not radiating that same spiritual energy because you've got this other energy coming out of you. And that's one of the reasons why you definitely do not want to have casual sex with women, because having sex with the wrong woman can basically throw off your spirit, throw off your spiritual energy, and make it where you wind up with a deeply troubled soul, because part of you is part of a deeply troubled woman, and her troubles are a part of you. Now, there are other reasons why you don't want to have sex with the wrong woman. One of them is that many of these deeply troubled women in this world, because in today's modern world, the modern woman has a minimum of 80 sexual partners by the time she's 30 years old. And that was back in 2011 that I got that statistic from Mad Voodoo Man, aka the Iceman. And these days the body count is even higher, and with the body count even higher, what happens is that you wind up again in a situation where you're dealing with a deeply troubled woman, and because this woman is so promiscuous, you put yourself at risk of possibly getting a venereal disease, because in today's society, again, with women and men being a part of this hookup culture, you having sex with the wrong woman can put you on a road to getting a venereal disease. Like we've seen this blow up in diseases like syphilis in cities like Houston and other places. We've seen the rises of these venereal diseases like chlamydia and other diseases, not to mention incurable venereal diseases like herpes and HIV and hepatitis. So having sex with the wrong woman, yeah, she may look good, but she can put you on the road to getting a venereal disease, and in some cases you could wind up with an incurable venereal disease that could basically destroy you for the rest of your life, because you won't be able to enjoy a sexual encounter the way healthy people can when you have sex with the wrong woman, because again, when you have these situations with the venereal diseases, they can do damage to your ability to enjoy sex. Moreover, if you have sex with the wrong woman, you can wind up again with that deeply troubled spirit that prevents you from being able to bond with a woman that in a marriage or a relationship. So that's another reason why you don't want to be having sex out here, because have sex with the wrong woman, again, you could have a bond. You're not able to pair bond because you've given yourself away to so many people. And if you give yourself to the wrong woman, you can't really connect and bond with the right woman. That's something many guys don't really think about. They don't think about, hey, I can't really bond and connect with this woman because I've given myself to the wrong woman. And I've given myself to the wrong woman, so I can't really share intimately with the right woman. And that's something a lot of guys don't really think about as related to the spiritual aspect of sex, not to mention they don't think about the venereal diseases. Now, another thing a lot of guys really don't think about is the fact that if you get with the wrong woman, she may not have really good intentions. And when you get with the wrong woman, what happens is because she doesn't have good intentions for the relationship or even the casual hookup, what she's looking to do is go out here and try to create a situation where she can have all the power in the relationship. And some of these women do this by looking to, again, try to turn a simp into a trick, where they look to, again, offer this man casual sex. And then after they offer the man casual sex, they have the man chasing after them by playing this hard-to-get game. I talk about this in depth in my book, Misadventures of Captain Save 'em, which you can find on Amazon.com. And what they do is they look to get this guy basically begging more for more sex and look to get him to continue spending more money, looking to, again, pay for the possibility of getting sex, but never getting any sex. And again, this is why you don't want to have sex with the wrong woman, because some of these women look to use their vagina as a way to try to commodify it, to try to get stuff out of a dude, trying to get him to chase her in the hopes of getting sexual access once more. And all the while, she continues to raise the price of that atomic waste reactor and continues to raise that price to the point where it gets to the point where it's absurd. And again, this is not a situation you want to get into with the wrong woman, because when a man gets caught up in his lust like this, what happens is he winds up getting completely jammed up, and he winds up tricking and wind up never getting anything but an ashy dick and extra dry balls. And that's what can happen when you have sex with the wrong woman who's out here looking to get paid. Now, another scenario that can happen to a dude is that when a woman gets feelings for a guy, and that's the wrong woman, what they look to do is keep that man in their life in a codependent relationship. And as they look to keep him in this codependent relationship, what they do is go out here and have a baby or get pregnant by taking his seed to go out here and get pregnant, so that they can basically use the child as leverage in not only family court for child support, but also look to use it as an emotional tool to go out here and keep this man in a codependent relationship where she continues to maintain the power as a baby mama. So a lot of guys, they sit there and go, oh, she's so fine, she's looking so good, I want to get with her. But the whole thing is that if you get with the wrong woman, you wind up losing your personal power and your intangibles like your dignity, your self-respect, your freedom, and basically your economic security, because what this wrong woman will do is basically tie an anchor around your penis and use it to sink you in life. She'll basically use it to sink you in life because, again, having sex with the wrong woman basically ties you into a situation where you're basically in a bad place. And as you're in this bad place, you're really lamenting the day you basically saw that big butt and a smile, and realizing that this woman was poison. And basically, that's what can happen when you have sex with the wrong woman. She will basically make it where you wind up miserable for the rest of your life. And that's why you have to be careful about who you're looking to pay attention to. And that's why you have to go out here and really vet these women and study their values and their character when you're talking to them. Because Madison Avenue in Hollywood, during the sexual revolution, really socially engineered a lot of us men to believe that having sex would have the highest value as related to social currency. And as we were peer pressured into believing that having sex would basically elevate our status as men or define us as men, we were basically bamboozled into believing getting with any woman would basically be a good thing. But a man has to really understand, and what Paul was talking about in the Bible as related to abstaining from fornication, and the reason why he has said that it is good for a man not to touch a woman, because the Apostle Paul understood it's good not for a man not to touch a woman sexually, because when a man doesn't touch a woman, he maintains his spiritual connection to God, and he also can get guidance and instruction from the Most High, and that guidance and instruction can basically keep his mind clear, and keep his mind clear enough so that he is not taken advantage of by many of these female predators who want to go out here and bond with him spiritually so that they can take his soul straight to hell. Because again, I'll repeat it once more, again, when a man has sex with a woman, it is not just a physical act of a penis going into a vagina. No, it is an act where skin and skin bond together and form this spiritual and mental connection. And this mental, spiritual, and emotional connection basically brings two people together as one. And you really want to watch who you're making that connection with, because again, these women have spiritual energy, and again, her spirit can really trouble your spirit, and again, trouble your spirit because again, you're bonding with this woman, and again, the wrong bond with the wrong person can basically just mess up and trouble your soul. So you really have to really take your soul seriously and value your soul. This is something men are not taught, because many of our pastors in these churches won't preach about the spiritual side of sex, and that's led to many men taking their souls for granted as related to sexual encounters. And this is something that is essential. You cannot take your soul for granted, because again, a sexual act is just not physical. It is mental, emotional, and spiritual. And you really have to think about the spiritual side of sex, because the spiritual side is the reason why a lot of these guys are just really just down and out as related to themselves whenever they're out here, why a lot of these guys are angry whenever they talk about women, because what's happened to these guys is that they've gone out here, had a casual sexual encounter as their first sexual encounter, and what that's done is led to them bonding with the wrong woman. And as they bond with the wrong woman, they don't really have feelings of love for women. No, they're just caught up in lust. And as they're caught up in lust, they cannot find that spiritual satisfaction for sex. And that's what leads to a lot of guys feeling numb and detached as related to having sex. They can't really connect or bond with a woman intimately and closely, because what's happened to them is they had casual sexual encounters when they were young, and that's really making it where they can't really connect and bond with their wives, because they want that intimacy and closeness, but they have an emotional wall. And again, that emotional wall comes from having sex with the wrong woman. Again, having sex with the wrong woman can keep you from getting close to the people that you really want to love. And that's where you have to go to the Most High and ask for repentance and ask for Him to deliver you from this thing, because the whole thing is that a lot of us, we all got sexual miseducations. Yes, we got passively a physical education in sex, but we were never taught about the spiritual or emotional aspects, because the pastor didn't preach those sermons. But that's why I want to talk about this, because again, I've seen so many men's lives be destroyed, whether it be in divorce court because he wound up in a situation where he couldn't bond with his wife and connect with her and be close to her, and they wound up separating as a result of the divorce. Or you wound up in a situation where the guy is a baby daddy stuck in family court, or in some cases he winds up being a person who gets targeted as related to a situation like the Me Too movement, where women, because they're bitter because they couldn't bond, they start making allegations that this man did things that he didn't do, or he winds up caught up in domestic violence situations with this woman who basically is angry and bitter at him because they couldn't bond and come together, because both of them had all of these different sexual partners, so they cannot bond in a relationship. So this basically, again, can derail a man's life. And instead of him having peace under God, where he and his wife are bonded together under God, what happens to that man is, again, he winds up miserable looking to find a woman that he can have sex with, that he will be looking to bond with, to make a wife, but he'll never find it because he doesn't see that the first sexual encounter he had with a toxic woman basically threw off his whole spiritual energy. And as it threw off his spiritual energy, it made it where he could not bond with a woman. Because you hear a lot of guys talk about how the woman can't pair bond, but in order for you to have a pair bond with a man, he also has to be in a place where he can connect with you spiritually. So a lot of people don't understand, again, how having sex works. And when a man, again, has sex with the wrong woman, it can basically put his life in a place where instead of him living the abundant life that the Most High wants to live through him, he winds up miserable in the company of women that really don't love him at all and can't really share with him the way God wants us to share with each other during a sexual encounter. Now, if you want to learn more about why a lot of guys wind up messed up like this, you can pick up my men's issues books like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance on Amazon.com, and you can pick up other books in the Simp series like Stop Simping in the Workplace, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. You can also pick up The Misadventures of Captain Save-'em and other books I've done like The Man Crisis, where I go further in depth on this whole sexual thing, and The Woman Crisis, where I go in depth on all of this. You can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target. And if you want to see me make more men's issues videos like this, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.